As Chair Lady of the Emergency Operations Center, as we call it EOC, I convened an EOC meeting on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. to assess the weather situation based on Tropical Storm Isaac that will be passing through the southern Leeward Islands on Thursday. Even though a tropical storm watch for St. Martin was not issued for the country, in its decision-making process, the EOC continues to take a cautious approach in the post-Irma environment. The decision has been taken to close schools on Thursday, September 13th, out of safety for the school children. Our meteorological services has indicated that the country could experience some gale force winds of up to 35 miles per hour. Seeing that we still have loose debris around the country, certain school buildings still have challenges, and based on these vulnerabilities, due to the aftermath of Irma, and for the comfort and safety of our school children, it has been advised to close schools for that day as Isaac passes through the Lesser Antilles. Businesses should give some consideration to those employees who cannot secure childcare services for Thursday. A decision with respect to school on Friday will be made on Thursday after an assessment of weather conditions. Government services will remain open on Thursday. Business operations can continue as normal on Thursday. Shelters will not open as planned on Wednesday due to a review of the latest information related to Tropical Storm Isaac. The police force of St. Martin will continue with their operational plan with respect to checkpoints along with the public road network between Wednesday and Friday as Tropical Storm Isaac passes the southern Leeward Islands. This measure has been taken with respect to safety and security. The Meteorological Department of St. Martin, along with the EOC, will continue to monitor Tropical Storm Isaac as it passes the southern Leeward Islands into the Caribbean Sea, thereby clearing the area south of the country. I would like to thank the public for their diligence in monitoring the storm during the past days. Continue to monitor the situation closely as the system is still east of the southern Leeward Islands. Continue to monitor official local weather and government-related information by visiting meteosxm.com, the Government of St. Martin website, stmartingov.org, or the Government of St. Martin social media Facebook, facebook.com/stmartingov, or tune in to the Government Radio 107.9. I will repeat that again. Continue to monitor official local weather and government-related information based on the official sites that was just given. On another note, I received a special award of appreciation from the Good News Baptist Church during their 50th anniversary celebration. On behalf of the government of St. Martin, I take this opportunity to publicly thank the Good News Baptist Church for their 50 years of dedicated service to this community of St. Martin. May God continue to add his richest blessings on the church and the work that they do for the community.
Tell them, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGE.
Parliament voted for to allow me to enter into this agreement. So now what I need to do is wait for the report coming from Parliament, and then it will go into the processing on our end. And hopefully by next week I will be able to sign the loan agreement and therefore facilitating the funds to come into our account. The loan agreement, just for clarity's sake, is a zero interest-bearing loan for a period of 30 years, of which the first 5 years is a grace period, so we start paying it back from year 6 until the 30th year. I would very much like to thank my team that worked really hard on preparing every aspect of going to Parliament and have this budget amendment presented. That goes from my technical finance department to my colleagues in my cabinet. I'm very proud of all of you. But also I would like to thank very much the House of Parliament for really digging in, have healthy discussions with me as the minister, which I always welcome. Of course, they always say when I was a parliamentarian, that I was very critical. So now I'm facing the heat out of the other side. But you know, I don't see it as facing heat. It's just a job that I'm trying to do as the best of my abilities, and I will try to reach the goals that's set by my ministry. But thank you again to the House, the Honourable House of Parliament and its members. Then, during that meeting last night, there were some challenging questions. One of those came from MP Artwell Arion, where he requested information pertaining to the income from number plates in 2017. Firstly, I received it as an odd question since we are in 2018. Why would one want to know 2017? I mean, figure it out yourself, I would say. Nevertheless, the question became actually a challenge to the Minister of Finance, because I got the impression that the MP thought that I would not be able to produce any information on that. That raises a lot of question marks as well, you know, on the. But nevertheless, to MP Arion and to the people of St. Martin, I can present you with some numbers on 2017. The year 2017, the government of St. Martin in totally received on the sale of number plates a total amount of 9,976,051 guilders. An additional question MP Arion had: can you please break it down in from which vehicle you received a certain amount? I leave it also up to the people of St. Martin to decide what and why questions like that, like those, are being asked. But in the defense of MP Arion, he said, you know, if you do not know how much money you collect and from which segments in society you collect it from, then how can you have a sound financial management? Which by itself is a just question. I think the time to raise that question, we can differ of opinion, because we all know that in the past years we had severe problems with our ICT. Also, that was not well received in Parliament, because they say ICT is being used as excuses. I extended the invitation to members of Parliament to, by all means, to come and visit the Ministry of Finance and more in particular the Finance Department, to come and see how we operate, under which conditions and in which circumstances we have to produce and meet the deadlines. And the deadlines, House of Parliament was very adamant about. We need to meet the deadlines. So that invitation I again extend to the members, the honorable members of Parliament. Just come and see, especially for those who were never on this end of the aisle. Also, I can inform you on the figures so far that we received, the income that we received out of the sale of number plates. At date, or to date, is an amount of 9,012,770 guilders. So it's a little less than in 2017. And yes, I have a breakdown also per category. And then you will say, but why don't you have the breakdown for 2017? Well, for the mere fact that the Asian system that we are using at a certain point in the fiscal year, the 2018 system, the workings for 2018 will override the 2017. The documentation that we collected in 2017, lots of it is still stored in a variety of buildings because of Irma, and I'm sorry that we need to use Irma again, but those are the facts. But then you have that information.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact WIB today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Windward Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Who you're for.
it is with great honor that I embark on this journey as a member of Parliament to represent, serve, and fight for St. Martiners and St. Martin people until 2022. Madam Chair Lady, I emphasize 2022 because I fully intend to be part of the St. Martin United Christian Democratic Coalition until that date. We are committed to give the people the stable government they deserve. Last Thursday, September 6th, was the one-year anniversary of Irma, the worst hurricane ever recorded, which devastated our island. As I reflected on the reconstruction and recovery process so far, I was left with a flood of emotions, thinking about all St. Martiners still roofless and jobless without any solutions in sight. While NGOs have done a great job of assisting our people, I strongly urge our Council of Ministers to make roof repair and job creation a priority. Irma exposed St. Martin's lack of preparedness for major disasters and our lack of financial resources to meet the needs of our people. It exposed our lack of human resources to meet the challenges to rebuild a sustainable St. Martin. It brought out a part of human behavior which I hope we will never see exhibited on our island ever again. This has left us at the mercy of our dependence on the trust fund made available by the Netherlands, which we all know came with conditions. We are confronted with a slow bureaucratic process of the World Bank, and in my opinion, we must seek to control this process. Nevertheless, I firmly believe every disaster has a silver lining. In this case, Madam Chair, Irma has given us the opportunity to rebuild more hurricane and earthquake resistant. We now have the opportunity to reform our civil service and we develop a vibrant economy which will bring back prosperity to our people. In order to achieve this, we must seek a better working relationship between the public and private sectors. No one sector can do it alone, and no longer can they exist in parallel directions. As I read of all the major hotel plans to rebuild, it gives me great hope that our island will see better days in the next couple of years. I would like to call on the people, in particular St. Martiners, to be part of this new beginning and look towards careers in the private sector. I advise the Council of Ministers to protect the rights of all workers as we rebuild our economy, which is the only way we will be able to lower the rising levels of poverty on our island. Irma has provided us the opportunity to confront and to resolve the issues within our government apparatus and government-owned companies. As a proud St. Martiner, I believe Parliament and government must take the lead to reform and clean up our own institutions. Failure to do so will only lead to more outside influence, which is something I was not raised to accept. To the Council of Ministers, which I fully support, I say I understand the challenges you face having to deal with the Dutch influence and World Bank standards while still having to run the day-to-day operations of our island. However, as a team, you must remain in the driver's seat in rebuilding our island and seeking other sources of funding. While some will always feel they can do it better, Madam Chair, Chair Lady, the reality is that Irma brought another level of obstacles never experienced by any St. Martin government. Success in our duties will totally depend on our ability to be effective, creative, efficient, and dedicated to reform and find solutions to the challenges we face as an island within the kingdom. Most of all, I believe it is important all ministers work in cohesion and rise above individual personalities as you always remember to place country above self. Madam Chair Lady, I assume my responsibility as MP, not as a Dutch St. Martiner or a French St. Martiner, but as a St. Martiner who lives this island as one and who believes in the word of one of our great artists, one island, one people, one destiny. With God's guidance, I fully intend to represent my people. In doing so, during my tenure as MP, I will aim to define who is a St. Martiner in our Constitution and initiate laws which will secure a prosperous future for our people. To this end, I will be seeking support of all of my colleagues in this endeavor. I look forward to working on electoral reform and campaign finance reform in order to improve our democratic process, as well as exercising my oversight role over government. Madam Chair Lady, I will end by saying, on the eve of the 2018-2019 parliamentary year, it is fitting to state SMCP's vision for St. Martin. We envision a St. Martin where people feel safe, there's affordable health care, affordable housing, gainful employment, quality education, equal business opportunities for all, unbiased justice, and I stress that, Madam Chair, unbiased justice, and a protected environment.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Chair, Parliament has been, of course, a very interesting learning experience for me as a new member of Parliament. The interesting thing is that we're now closing the parliamentary year, but it has not been an entire year for me. But in this short time, a lot has been done. There's been some highlights and some lowlights, and I won't go into so many details right now. But what I do want to say is that I think going forward, based on what I've learned, there are some improvements that, as a parliament, that we all should take into account. Madam Chair, the first thing that I reflect on was one of the most significant meetings we've had as a parliament, at least since I joined, was the budget debate. And I have expressed on numerous occasions my frustration with the way that was handled, and even to this day, the way our budget in St. Martin is being handled. We are not meeting deadlines. We are not sticking to what the Constitution has mandated us to do. And we have ministers who, back to back, have given at least me the impression that they do not see Parliament as an important tool in the approval of the budget. They simply see it as a rubber stamp. And in my opinion, this has to change going forward. The ministers must present a good budget to Parliament, and Parliament must be able to do more in terms of the interaction with the budget. I say this because I do not believe that the budgetary process that has happened in the past should just be a couple of weeks before the deadline, so to speak. We come, we meet, we ask questions and go. My philosophy is that the budget of St. Martin, constitutionally mandated to us, is a year-round project for Parliament, and we must continue to bring not just the Minister of Finance, but all the ministers to Parliament to give their views and their plans with regards to the budget of St. Martin. That is something I will be focusing on very diligently going forward. Madam Chair, another thing that I think it's a bit again, ironic perhaps, that one of the things that I wanted to see was what we just had, a question hour. And Madam Chair, I must say, to my opinion, it was the first time, but there's a lot that should be tweaked. We have seen that ministers coming to Parliament has not been the way it should be. Committees have called ministers to Parliament, I myself being some, and we are still awaiting these ministers to call to action. We've also seen meetings called in February, or requested in February, that have only been called in July. And from what the feedback been given, the minister's schedule, the ministers are busy. Madam Chair, going forward as a Parliament, I do reflect on what we've seen and the attitude of ministers in terms of responding to Parliament. I think a lot of the responses are unacceptable, in particular the response that the Committee of TIAT received from the Minister of TIAT in terms of why he would not attend a meeting. And to quote that, He believes that the request for the meeting is premature. I believe that is unacceptable, in my opinion, for ministers to simply deem what is premature or not in the eyes of Parliament. If a committee or Parliament has decided it is important, it is not for the minister to decide whether it is of importance or not at that point. And that is something that we have to change with the attitude of our ministers going forward. Madam Chair, there's some other things that we really have to be cognizant of, and there's a long list of issues that St. Martin faces. I look forward to, for example, the meeting with the World Bank that is scheduled. Finally, we have an opportunity to meet with this mystical force that we've been hearing of. And my contention to that is that I want to, as a Parliament, myself, and encourage my fellow members of Parliament to keep in mind that our Constitution does not have the words World Bank written anywhere in it. It has the budget, it has interpolation, it has questioning, it has accountability. But we as members of Parliament do not control the World Bank. And that is something we have to keep in mind. The dependence on an organization that is a multinational organization with some good history. But I want to remind again, there are 4 dangers that I listed before that can exist if we don't be careful in the way we handle multinational organizations. And I think it's very important as a Parliament going forward to keep in mind that as Parliament we have our job with ministers and the government in terms of accountability. Some issues I believe that we need to tackle immediately as soon as possible in the upcoming parliamentary year. The current state of civil aviation, Madam Chair, there's a very deplorable situation that exists that can really hurt this country, really in such a way that even Irma has surpassed. And that would be the potential closure of our airport by a further downgrading of our FAA status and ICAO status. All what we're saying this means, Madam Chair, is that if the attention is not given to our civil aviation, we will have a situation where our airport can literally only land and handle small aircraft.